Hey True Believers, it's Randolph here, and we're here with Dee Brown from Beenox, and we're about to talk about the amazing Spider-Man game, which is coming out around the time the movie's coming out. Is that right, Dee?
Yeah, it's coming out on June 26th, actually.
Okay, so the movie obviously is going to be a reboot of the Sam Raimi films. Would you say that this is a reboot of your previous Spider-Man games as well?
I would think that would be appropriate, yes, because when we did Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions, I think we really pushed the edge of on many different levels, and I think that this time around, our Shattered Dimensions team actually worked really hard to provide the gamers on what's going to be the next evolution in Spider-Man titles.
I guess the key thing in all Spider-Man games is try and make you feel like you're Spider-Man. In what way are you guys trying to do that with this game?
First thing that we did is look at the web swinging mechanic. I mean, that's something that's key to any Spider-Man title, and this time around, giving this level, this fantasy of being Spider-Man, we completely reworked the camera. The camera is much closer to the action, and I think that the feeling of web swinging and just diving on the street and at the last minute web swing just above car level is something that's amazing. I think that's the best web swing that you've ever been able to experience in any Spider-Man title. But it goes beyond like that. I mean, that's the camera is overall much closer to the character. You have things like his suit is now tearing apart. You see damage on his suit. You get to see the Peter Parker, the hero behind the mask, and all those little details that we've done to really create an authentic Spider-Man experience.
Now, from what I've seen in the game so far, it's looking pretty cinematic as well, and particularly with the web rush maneuvers that you've got in there. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Absolutely, the web rush is the key features that we want to give to the player. Basically, the web rush, at any point in the game, you can enter the web rush mode and immediately select a destination for Spider-Man, and the game calculates what's the coolest way basically to get to that point in a spectacular fashion. So sometimes you'll select a lamppost, sometimes you'll jump and then land on the bus, run a bit on it, and then jump yourself, swing on a pole to finish. Some other time, based on your location, you may jump and kick on a wall before running on another and finally land on that same lamppost. So there's all those crazy things that we're able to give to the player, and that's just a navigational aspect, because there's also combat and environmental interaction as well.
Now, we know that this game, in terms of story, is actually an epilogue to the upcoming movie. So does that mean you really need to see the film first before you play the game?
That's a good question. Actually, we've been very careful not to spoil anything from the movie, of course, in our game. But setting that story after the event of the movie allows us to much more creative freedom in what we can do. So for example, not only the player will be able to explore what happens next after the event of the movie, they will see what happened to Gwen Stacy, what happens to Connors, aka the Lizard, but also they will be able to encounter some additional Marvel villains that have not been seen in the movie. And as you've said, I mean, the Amazing Spider-Man is a reboot of Spider-Man Genesis, so those characters also have a new twist to them that we're going to be able to present to the players.
So is that a spoiler saying Kurt Connors is going to be in the game?
It is not. I mean, it's obviously something that we cannot possibly not have in our game. Lizard is finally in the movie, so you want him in the game as well. You want to see what happens to him afterward. So no, I wouldn't think so. And we're approaching it so differently than what they're doing.
So as a Spider fan, I note with interest that the Rhino footage you guys released a couple of weeks ago, he's looking organic as opposed to a guy in a suit. Does that sort of tie in with the overall story with the Lizard and Oscorp in this film?
It touched on one of the key theme of the movie, which is like kind of the cross-species theme in general. So Rhino in our game, you're absolutely correct. So he's now 100% organic. He's actually a rhino with human DNA that has been mixed, and he has evolved into this huge creature. So that's one of the character that we've announced, and so we've given them like a new genesis as well, rebooting the character, and but while staying true, of course, to what's cool about that character. But Marvel and Sony have been awesome in working with us and giving us that level of freedom.
And speaking of organic, this is mechanical web shooters in this one. Last question is, will you run out of webbing in this game?
Well, bring the web shooters, the fact that the web shooters are mechanical is actually something that's really cool from a game standpoint, because it allows us to upgrade them and to give all sort of crazy moves to the player with the mechanical web shooters. So unfortunately or fortunately, you're not going to be running out of webs. I mean, that was a gameplay choice that we've made, but you will see Spider-Man from time to time having to recharge his shooter to an automated animation, basically.
Okay, well, look, thank you very much for Can you tell us one last time when The Amazing Spider-Man is out and on what platforms?
The Amazing Spider-Man is out on June 26th for Xbox 360, PlayStation 3, Nintendo Wii, 3DS, and DS.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.